All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Sunny Days in Detroit show, Bears Week. In the
Hate the
words of
Bears.
our friend Isaac on Twitter, fuck the Bears. That game is in Chicago, Soldier Field. It's a 1 p.m. game, Eastern time. If you're in the Central Time Zone, which I believe Chicago is, that's a
Yep.
noon kickoff, and it's going to be on Fox. And we're going to go to our beautiful, beautiful weather girl, Pavo. Pavo, what's the weather going to be like that day?
The weather? Let's see here. We
Is your
had it
wind
pulled up and
is
I
the
already
wind
lost
going to be
it.
whipping through your beautiful golden locks? Bringing your
Yeah.
Anzalone wig?
Maybe. Well, I got the hat. So
I love that crew though. By the way, I love that little thing that's happening.
I
That's
can't tell if
fucking
it's
awesome.
is it the same crew or is it a different crew?
I think it is. I thought the guys
Ah.
that travel.
Because
Anyway,
that was like
go
the
on
best
web.
Halloween
Yeah.
costume, was just
was pretty
simple,
good.
and they got the job done. Weather. I mean, earlier in the week we had a scare. They're talking sleet, snow, rain, winds. I think I saw 20, 30 miles per hour. Since then, the high for the day is 36. Around game time, they're saying mid 30s. Winds west to northwest, 10 to 50 miles per hour. I don't believe that. I feel like it's always windier in Chicago, but we'll go what they say. Yeah, that's about it. It looks like it's going to be. You know what? I'll say the Lions got pretty lucky for a December game in Chicago because it could be a lot worse.
Could be.
Yeah. So
But you know what?
I'll take it.
We'll get more into this once we get into our matchups, offense and defense and whatnot. But like where I am on the weather with this team, like I know Jared has the reputation of not playing as good in the cold, and that's another stat we can get into. But like honestly, man, I don't give a shit. You want to play in a parking lot? You want to play in the snow, in the rain? I don't give a fuck. I know Ragnow's hurt. We still have a great O line. We have a great run game. I mean, I think most fans would give up both testicles to have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs running the ball for them. And you're running behind a brick wall, man. So if there's a game that's not in the dome that we have to lean on our run game, I'm confident in this group.
Yep,
They can move
me
the ball.
too.
They could score. They could score on the ground.
Yep.
do
Milo
we-
gave up his testicles a few weeks back.
Oh, he did. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
Milo's been neutered, so he did it for the team.
No reproduction. No reproduction.
No.
I
I think weather-wise, I think you got to look at it like this. Like this is I think a good litmus test, right? It's like it's another chance for Goff, me being one of his biggest critics, to put more under the bridge, right? It's like this is one of the things I think I just saw an interview come out of Allen Park where they asked him. I think the reporters asked him about weather like 12 times,
Yeah.
like within like a 3-minute scenario. He's like, I think I just got asked this 5 times in a row, which is like, give the guy a break. Like even again, as a critic of his, give the guy a break. Let him play the game, and then if it still kind of haunts him, then talk about it afterwards. Don't preempt all this stuff. So like, I look at it as a litmus test of like you said, no matter where we're going, where we're playing, we all know Soldier Field. Tough field in general. It's not the greatest field from like just a perspective of like the actual like field itself. The weather involved, they're right off the I think the lake right there. So wind can come at any time to get that lake effect. So it's a tough place to play. And this is like a good statement game after coming off a tough, hard fought victory against them. And it's gonna be interesting. See how the weather plays a factor.
This was something I should have looked up before. Shame on me. Bad podcasting. Did the Bears switch? Paul, this is like a weird thing you probably know. Did they switch from grass to like what Green Bay does, where it's half grass, half turf type of thing?
No, they're all grass.
They're all grass. Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
I thought I had heard.
their
Oh no, it was the
players-
Titans. Titans switch. My bad.
I mean, yeah, and like, listen, I know from the past, a lot of their offensive players have bitched about this in the past,
Yeah.
like because they've been known to leave their grass. Like I know I forgot the
On
exact
level.
rule, but there's a level of grass you can't go over. It needs to be clipped for the game, and I know they're always right at that threshold of how long you could go, especially the days of Urlacher, and they try to turn it into a sloppy game back in the day. Now, I'm not sure if they still do that now, but yeah, they've stayed grass and they've continued to be like 100% natural, which.
It's interesting because like I look at it as like home field advantage. Like if I was the Lions Stadium, take it for all it's worth. Do what you can to get that advantage. So it's like it's part of playing in Chicago, right?
Yep. No, exactly. All right. Anything else on the weather?
I got nothing else.
All
The dog is freaking
Pavlet, beautiful.
I like that name.
Injury report is it's not super long for Detroit. Aleem McNeil, for those of you that missed it, Aleem McNeil is going to be out for a little while. We don't know exactly how much time. He's got a knee injury. He's got a knee injury.
Sprain.
Pretty much the only guys that you would expect to play that are going to be out. Ragnow looks like he's going to be out. Also, he's knee as well. Rodrigo's going to be questionable with an ankle injury.
He'd probably go.
I think he'll go too.
Yeah.
I think so too. He's probably a guy that's just holding out of practice to be safe. And Hendon Hooker, which we know not going to see the field for a while anyway. That's fine.
Boy over there.
That's my fucking boy, man. Hendon Hooker made me a lot of money in the 2022 college football season. So that's my fucking boy too. Big time.
Same. That's where half my love for him comes
He can throw it.
Yeah. No, he can sling it.
Hey, we were excited about you want to be excited about every draft pick. He shouldn't be an exclusion for any reason, period.
No, absolutely not. Matchups, right? What do you guys want to start with? Lions standpoint, offense, defense.
Let's go Lions offense. Bears defense. We'll go that first.
Okay.
Want to do that?
Yeah.
What?
Which one do you guys want to start?
I got some stuff down about the Bears defense. A few things I just kind of wrote down and kind of looked up some stuff. So, the couple interesting things that I found like on the Bears defense is that over the last 4 weeks since they just made a pickup of one guy, Montez Sweat. The difference that he's made, and I don't know if it's just one guy or also the backfield's getting healthy. They've took a significant jump. Like before Montez Sweat, their average pressures a game was 14.9, but I think in 5 or 6 of those games, they had less than 13 pressures. Since acquiring Montez Sweat, they're averaging 19.5. So
wow.
Pass rush is there. That's a huge jump.
Yeah, that's interesting. I did not see that stat, and that's definitely something to keep in mind. Yeah,
and and the 4 games, two of those games out of the 4 that we're talking about the difference of Montez Sweat, what he's made, were against Detroit and Minnesota, 2 who I believe they have like a top 5 offensive line in football. So what Montez Sweat has brought to that D line, it was almost like he was like the missing piece to glue it all together. And part of me regrets telling Matt over here that, we shouldn't have traded for him,
I still wouldn't take him. I'm sorry. He's
with the
making
contract
a lot of money. Not to cut you off, Pavo. What I agree with what you just said. What he reminds me of, and different roles because he's a pass rusher, but reminds me of Snacks Harrison when he came to the Lions.
That instant, 19.
Yeah.
Against the first game was against Seattle. Yeah.
See, I'll respectfully disagree there because the way I look at it is you look at like a time-based kind of like perception of like getting a guy like that for a 3rd round pick, and if you have to pay him $24 million, I'm not in on it. But if they can get him for a cheaper deal, just being on the Lions and having a better team in front of him,
I don't think he wanted money.
Yeah, I think that is the case too. So I think that was part of like the trade conversations. Like, hey, this is what the agent wants. So if you're going to trade, this is your expectation what to pay. If that wasn't the case, I think having a guy like that opposite of Hutch to pay for the next 3 years, then when Hutch is up, again, it kind of crosses over at the right time where you can just let him go after the contract. That situation, I think, is perfect because him across from Hutch, I think he's 1,000 times better than you see at the Bears because they have no one across from him right now. You see him across from Hutch right now, he is going to feast.
Yeah.
But again, what is that worth? And $24 million, I don't care who's on the other side. That's not worth it.
Yeah, and listen, the difference is out there what he's made. Like Bears were the worst pass defense going into the last 3 games. Since the last 3 games, they've made a significant jump. Now, 2 of those games were against Carolina, and I know everyone's on this Dobbs love story, Minnesota, but at the end of the day, it's still Dobbs. He's a career backup, if you can even call him a career backup. And it's a great story. Maybe it continues tomorrow or Sunday when they play when the Vikings play Raiders. Maybe it doesn't. But 2 of those games are against Carolina, struggling Bryce Young, and a Vikings team that Dobbs played probably his worst career game that he could have played. I think he threw 4 interceptions. So, but the defense, their pass defense has taken big steps. Eddie Jackson, Jaquan Brisket, the rookie Stevenson, I heard is coming in his own. The backfield, the back end is playing well.
Jalen Johnson, my God.
Well, he's a stud.
He was a huge question. Like it was because it wasn't like playing up to like what people thought he was like leading up to the trade deadline. Apparently he wanted to trade. They were like, no, we just need a couple pieces to get this thing formed. Like if we get a better pass rush, it'll make your job easier. You're going to look better. Hey, he's taking a lot of flack right now. The GM over there, what's his name? Ryan
Poles.
Yeah, he should.
Look at it like this. Their defense is starting to look pretty solid. They're probably going to go fetch a second round for Justin Fields on the offseason. They're going to draft Caleb Williams, reset the clock on their starting quarterback.
I don't know.
I don't think Caleb's going one no more.
I don't know about that.
I don't think Caleb might not. Caleb Williams might not even go number 2.
Put it like this: they have QB of their choice. Let's just put it like that. They have QB of their choice.
Oh yeah,
They reset the clock there on like the contract situation. They get another second round pick probably for Justin Fields. I'm going to guess right now the Patriots, and then from there, he's got a lot of flack, but I think he's like doing some good things over there. I really do.
The Bears are in a very similar situation that the Lions were in 2 years ago. The only difference is the Lions believe. I mean, for the most part, we believe we've got our quarterback, right? And like, maybe we do, maybe we don't, but he's playing damn good right now. Let's see how the rest of the season goes. But like, we have a quarterback, right? The Bears are in a very similar situation, but they have to draft a quarterback. Yeah. Selfishly, what I want as a Lions fan, obviously, I want to beat them. I'd like to beat them Sunday, obviously.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But what I want is I'd love to see them win out from here on out and for Justin Fields to play great football, because now they're going to look at it as like, Jesus Christ, what do we do? Like, I think if there's any no-brainer, if you're the Bears and there's any no-brainer out there, like, honestly, when in doubt, is it crazy to say, like, and this isn't a Bears podcast, but like, is it crazy to tell them to take Marvin Harrison Jr. and then figure it out?
I'm not sure if he's coming out either. He might stay.
Oh no, I think
State.
It depends on the NIL money, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
listen, the NIL money, like, this has been a huge topic of conversation with the whole Caleb, Marvin Harrison, all these people. At the end of the day, like, taking that risk to get injured and drop in, because like they're pretty much just matching your rookie contract. So to match your rookie contract to maybe get hurt and maybe affect the rest of your career is
if you're a first round pick. If you're a first round pick, though, and not really. I mean,
he's a top 5.
No one's getting real NIL money that is not a top first round pick. So it's like,
no, that's not. No, dude, there's O linemen right now that are like projected second and third rounders making $500,000. Hey,
damn.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's really difficult right now. To a lot of college coaches, we were talking about this in the football show last night. A lot of college football coaches right now are talking about how difficult it is to find legitimate offensive. Forget the transfer portal. Like, every year in the transfer portal, there's like 1, maybe 2 actual tackles that could help bring you a championship in college. Like, it is a really difficult thing to find a 6'5", 6'6". What, am I wrong?
No, I'm just seeing where this whole conversation is going.
It's a difficult one. Yeah, it's true. We're straying so far off. I have the worst ADD. It's hard. The point is that a lot of good O linemen are few and far between.
Let's circle it back though to the line. I'll jump in there. So line, I think I'm gonna kind of jump right in where Paul left off. So I think he's absolutely correct in 2 of the biggest factors in this turnaround that you're seeing with the Bears D is, 1, getting some semblance of a pass rush. I think we all know, like we saw it from your first year to second year with Aiden Hutchinson. Once Aiden Hutchinson's got in there, you kind of started to see what it could be. Again,
talking about the Bears defense?
No, I'm talking about Bears defense, but using their lines as an example. Yeah. So they get smart in there and they start getting some pressures. Takes a little bit of ease off the defensive backs. So their defensive backfield is not bad. They have good guys.
They've invested in it a lot too. They've drafted high.
If you were to tell me which back, I mean, not with injuries aside, if right now current state starting players, I would say they have a better defensive backfield. Period.
Probably, yeah.
Just on average. I'm not saying I think we might have a couple guys that have a higher ceiling long term as like younger players. Absolutely. But where it stands today, how they're playing right now, I'd say they might have a little bit of a defensive backfield. You take that on top of, they finally established that they have an edge rusher they can believe in that they think is the future for them. They have TJ Edwards, he's starting to work out really well for them at the linebacker position. And now they got Jalen on the back end. So they got a guy at each level that's playing at a pretty high level, which seems like to make it cohesive enough where if Sweat's not getting to the quarterback, Jalen Edwards or Jalen Johnson's probably locking down their number one. Maybe TJ Edwards is coming up the middle on the blitz to get a little extra pressure. Whatever the case may be, my worry from their defensive side is my focal point in the beginning of that game is going to be that right guard position and seeing how they pressure that. Sewell has shown in the last 2 games, this is not his fault, but he is clearly leaning a little inside and worried about what's happening at guard when Sorsdale's there. Anytime he's been in the game, Sewell has seen, I think last game he crawled trying to like block a guy. I've never seen that in 3 years.
Well, but that's also, I mean, listen, that comes back to Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, you got a scheme for this, pal. You know, it's how do you attack an offensive line? You go after the weak link, whoever the weak link may be, right? Whoever that is. In this case, it's gonna be at right guard, like you just said. I'm gonna assume Sweat's gonna be one-on-one with this kid. If I were the Bears, that would be probably the way I would line this up.
He's
a D tackle.
Montez Sweat's a D end.
On paper, he's a D tackle. Unless I'm wrong.
No, he's
so the way they play nose tackle, so they're kind of more of like the 3 front. So I think sometimes like he technically might show up as a DT because the way he lines up and they have the linebackers outside of him.
Regardless, maybe. I think they're going to have a lot more success lining up. Yeah.
So listen, my thing too is as much as we're giving the Bears a lot of credit here and their turnaround here over the last 3 games, and it's only 3 games. That's not a big like portfolio. You know, we're talking before these 3 games, they were the worst pass defense in the league. Now, Montez Sweat brought that. Yes.
Remember we were in 2021. Going to the same point in the season that carried over to the next season.
What?
That change.
Our defense never changed. It still sucks.
The team in general. the team in general.
I don't buy it. I don't think the Bears are that good. If you told me the Packers right now, sure. Bears, no.
No, I don't think they're good. So, I'm just saying change can happen.
Their coach is getting fired. They're getting rid of their quarterback. They're losing other guys. They're overpaid at linebacker. True. They're still a disaster.
True. Yeah,
like I would not want to be a Bears fan. The only thing I'm excited about being a Bears fan is that I have some young pieces around the defense, and the next would be that I have high draft picks. But also, I traded away a 2nd-round pick for a receiver that's gone. Like they've made awful moves,
but that's kind of like Bears mentality, right? It's like they've always had good defenses, like and in Detroit we've always had good offenses, so we always expect that.
But they don't have a good defense.
Coach Harbaugh just signed an extension yesterday, right?
Did he?
He did.
I don't think so. Did he?
Did he not?
I think there's one that was offered for him. It's on the table to make him the highest paid. But that doesn't mean anything.
Just hear me out. Out. I don't know that there's any guarantee. I don't know what's going to happen in Michigan, right? I'm going to assume Harbaugh's going to get extended. That seemed to be like the big rumor. Now, what validity there was to that rumor, I don't know. There's no guarantee Matt Eberflus is fired at the end of the season. Just keep that in mind.
He's gone.
I don't think so. Not that I don't think so. I don't think it's a guarantee. That's all I'm saying.
First of all, you guys are changing your mind. This guy blew the Lions game 2 games ago. They beat an awful Minnesota team that couldn't play a worse game. And because they won 1 game, all of a sudden everyone's ready to jump on this Bears bandwagon. He couldn't have done a worse coaching job in the last 7-8 minutes of that game than what he did as a coach.
Well, is it a matter of praising the Bear, which maybe we've done a little bit, whatever.
I think everyone's just nervous that Lions could overlook this. And and it's a divisional game. I'm nervous. I told you I'm nervous about this game.
It's not overlooking. I just look at it from a, we talked about this the other day, pal. Shoe on the other foot. Like if I'm a Bears, player, fan, whatever, how you want to look at it, this is a revenge game. We got one stolen from us 3 weeks ago, and I want to come in. They're coming into our house now, and we should have got one at their house, and we let it slip away. This this shows who you are as a team right here.
I'm looking at it from, I guess, more of an X's and O's standpoint, and for me, what worries me the most is like, what is the Lions' Achilles heel? And it's been that way, I don't know, well over a decade. It's mobile quarterbacks. Like Justin Fields, some of his best games of his career are against the Lions, and that's going to happen.
Some of his worst games too.
Yeah, but like statistically, he's always run now.
He choked once it came in at the end of the game again. He choked.
Right, but when you win a game by that margin, that means you could lose it by that same margin too.
Yeah.
So for me, my concern, I guess, to are we done? Are we done with offense? Am I able to move to defense?
Defense.
Or no?
There's.
Well, I
there's
think we should talk a little about the Lions' offense because I think we focus a little bit.
I wasn't sure how much I missed. I had to
kind of
run
big.
something outside the.
I think the only thing I think is a focal point in this game is that right guard position again. Like there has to be a game plan. I assume they're going to be maybe running a little bit of a running back blocking set to maybe protect on that right guard to see how it works out at the beginning of the game. If it's not strong, you're probably going to see Monty in there a lot throughout the game just blocking. That's or maybe even Rodriguez. Maybe Rodriguez would be a great addition to have healthy to just sit back there and block as an extra guy. And just hopefully, throw out three in the receivers.
I tell you what, though, I would, as a little vote of confidence here and there throughout the game, I'd run the ball right up Swordsdale's side here and there, just to give him give him a little confidence.
Listen. You want to do that to slow
I mean?
down the pass rush against them. You want to slow down that defender that's just coming right off the line.
And I think his run game is what's his strength. Right?
Yeah,
that's
that's what he wants to do.
I get what you're saying, man. It's like playing to his strength, give him a little confidence, and maybe that plays.
Yeah, but it's also like, hey, we believe in you. We believe in you. We believe in you so much. We're going to run the ball right up your ass. That's how much we believe in you. Things like that. And Campbell does kind of do things like that. And that comes from his playing days.
Listen,
he knows.
I'm not sure if it was the Bears game. One game where he came off the bench. The first play was right behind him, run play. Right up, sorry. Right behind.
I thought that was like his first, not start, but his first appearance.
Maybe, yeah, it was.
He
came off the bench, and they went. First play was run right at him. Listen, one statistic that the Lions last time they played the Bears in the first half, they averaged the Lions in the first half average. Where I wrote it down, they averaged 3.9 yards a carry, I believe, or 3.3 yards a carry.
The
last meeting. The second half, they had success and they averaged 7.3 yards a carry.
We did.
Yes.
We averaged that against the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our team runs through run offense. That's how this team is successful. That's how it's built. That's Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson's formulation of old school mentality with new school schemes. That's why this works so well. They don't shy away from being a running first team, which people try to get away from because it's a passing league, but they do it in a way where they're scheming to where you can't really tell if it's a run or a pass. And that I think you've you mentioned this about the scheme before in the past, Powell, about how Ben Johnson's you can't tell what they're doing until they get about to a 5-yard line or that 5 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And then you know if it's a pass or a run.
Well, credit so much. Go ahead, Paul.
They try to run the exact same route, making guys look exactly doing the same thing. I believe most teams try to do it 5. Ben Johnson tries to get it for 7 yards.
Yeah, that's it.
He even takes it farther than most good teams do. Yeah,
I think a lot of it too. You have to credit Goff for selling the play action so well. That defensively, you don't know.
That Seattle player blew him up because he thought he saw the ball.
One thing I'll never take away from him, he probably is the best, as far as I know, play action quarterback.
Yeah, no, he sells. He sells.
That's
the
one thing I
fuck out of it.
cannot take away from him ever. I can't.
Yeah.
Listen, for me, this matchup, and we can move on to the other side of the ball.
I got one more thing on the offense.
Do you want to go before I say what I'm going to say?
Yeah.
I'll let you finish.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, listen, one thing I heard today, which I didn't know it was this record, but this goes back to Goff has something to prove Sunday. He's 7-7 in games under 40 degrees. That's whether we like it or not. That's a storyline, right? I believe just in his NFL career.
And four of those games came last year.
So one of the last one was whatever you were at that game. What was the temperature?
Oh, I mean, I've been to colder games than that, but that Green Bay night game, it was brutal. And I think they said it was 23, 24, but the wind chill was 6 or 5. It was cold.
Goff specifically could put part of a nail into a coffin of the criticism against him. If he comes out, he doesn't have to throw over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. But if he keeps the ball, if he does what he did last week, takes care of the ball, does not put it into bad spots, throws for 1 or 2 touchdowns and 200 something yards, he could help, because that is one of the worries when you listen to the national media. That is one of the worries about this team in the playoffs. It's their defense, and then people will always, 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 for better or worse, bring up Goff in cold weather.
Well,
If
good.
Goff
Don't.
if,
The good
if Goff
thing is
comes out and has a lights out game and does his job, I think you could kind of put a nail in that coffin of like, yeah, he could produce in cold weather.
I also think it's not just a golf thing though. Like, right. So like you got to
No,
look
but I'm
at
saying
it
from a national
no,
media
no, no,
standpoint.
no, no, no.
That's
the
talking point.
absolutely. But like, I always guilty as charged, one of the biggest golf critics out there. You got to look at it as like, this is a full team that plays in a dome. So even the receivers aren't used to catching balls where the ball gets hard. Your hands are stiff. They might drop some balls they don't usually drop in this game, which won't be his fault. So
right.
Fans probably don't want this type of game, but what I foresee is a very ground and pound, dink and dunk game just to move the chains and drain the clock. We hate seeing it some games because if a turnover happens, that can sometimes bite you in the ass. But that's what I think what needs to happen to really win this game, because you can't, I think, risk big passes mean bigger throws, mean harder throws, means harder to catch. And I think that's a smart move is to play it like that way.
So to Pat's point, and we're kind of slowly shifting over to here. Since week 7, Lions average pass per attempt, not completion, is 6.6. I believe it's 29th or 30th in the league. So where their average throws are one of the shortest. So the Dinkin, Duncan throwing it to Laporta slants, Amon. Lions are not going to be going and airing it out tomorrow in Chicago. No. So
I think they will. Windy City, you never know what the weather's going to predict. So when you're putting together a game plan and you're off that lake, and lake, my wife's from upstate New York. Lake effect is a real thing. It says weather one thing today, tomorrow could be totally different.
Totally change.
They're going to game plan for this to be a ground and pound dink and dunk game, and so have it. The weather plays in their favor. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to have a few plays up their sleeve where maybe this is the final of the game where you see JMO just get one aired out for like 45 yards and just like a straightaway touchdown. I'm waiting for that day. That's one thing I've been salivating for.
Listen, the Lions offense needs to win the battle against the Bears defense, or we're not winning this game. That's it. And at the end of the day, like, yes, they've looked better in the last 3 games. That's 3 games. They're shit for the first 10. They suck. And it's no excuse. Meaning, like, the Lions have no excuse to get beaten up by them defensively. They don't. They got to play. We have playmakers on Laporta, the best duo running back, Gibbs and Monty. Monty still wants revenge, probably playing in Chicago. It's the first time being back in Chicago. He's going to have an extra, probably his adrenaline will be running wild. So
of the 4 units that are going to be on this field tomorrow, the Lions offense is so much better than all of them by leaps and bounds. And they lost that in the first game. It got away from them. Turnovers happen, and that we talked about. It should happen.
Yeah,
people have bad games. You got to correct that this game. If that happens again,
this leads into the talking about our defense. But like, what we need to see on Sunday? We need to see a complete game. We have not seen a complete game in literally months at this point, right? Like we've had wins.
I would say Tampa Bay was the last complete
Tampa Bay was the last complete game. I would agree to that. Like I want to see
Goff played the best game of the year, and that he just took it over for 330 yards, like had a great game, like best game of the season, period.
Offensively, like we just said, no turnovers, okay? Take care of the ball, punt when you have to punt, kick field goals when you have to kick field goals. If there's a chance to go for it on 4th, go for it. If not, live to fight another day. You don't
keep
need to
it
give them
simple.
The ball back.
You're the better team.
Yes, and defensively, we know you're going to give up a ton of yards. We know Justin Fields is going to run all over you. You know what? Fine. When they get to the red zone, limit them to field goals. And for once, at some point in this game, turn the ball over. Give it back. give the ball back to the offense.
There you go.
On the other side of the field. Like, let's do something like that. Because, yes, we had the Kirby Joseph pick against the Chargers a couple weeks ago. Then, didn't he have one? Did he not have one against the Saints? Oh, no, we had a turnover against the Saints. Brian Branch.
Jerry Jacobs would have had one.
Yes. Brian Branch had one in that game. But let's continue applying pressure. Let's play a complete game. I could live with giving up. You give up 20 points to them in their stadium, fine. As long as we score 21, so be it. We don't have to cover the spread. It's about winning. But let's play a complete game of football. Let's do that, okay? Let's make our field goals. I'm not asking Riley Patterson to make one 50 yards out in the wind. I'm not saying that. Get your fucking extra points. When it's a chip shot, get it through. Everyone, top to bottom, let's have a complete game. Defensively, you know what, Pavo, you've called out Hutch a little bit. I've called out other guys on the line. Pass rush as a whole. Let's get some fucking rush. Let's apply some pressure to Justin Fields, because we know one thing about this man. Is he an athlete? Oh yeah. Does he have a cannon for an arm? Of course he does. You know where he fails? When you force him to think. When you take away the first and the second read and you force him to think, and it's not a design run and it's not a QB draw, that's when he gets flustered. That's when you see he starts to see his ghosts, and you see a flat line there. If you could fool him just a little, you're going to get the upper hand in this game.
Listen,
and that's why I want to see him turn the ball over early. If you get him to turn the ball over early, whether it be a interception or a fumble, you get in his head, he's over. He's done. He's rattled.
Listen, I know that the game plan against Lamar Jackson did not work, trying to keep him in the pocket. But Justin Fields is not Lamar Jackson throwing the football.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson is a legitimate passer of the football.
Yes.
Fields
one thing that, like...
Well, let's not don't take it all away from him. He's one of the top 5 deep ball passers in the league right now. So, like, he's...
Fields?
Yes.
He's
got a great deep ball. Like, again, but like we're talking like polar opposites. Like, you have Jared Goff, who's like the most probably consistent, accurate thrower between, let's call it 5 and 30 yards. Justin Fields is the kind of a game breaker guy. He relies on that like 40 plus bomb to an open guy, and he can throw that accurately. But to your point earlier,
but they're very
bad beyond like earlier than that. Like those early reads where he needs those like little like 15-yard hitch routes, those 10-yard ins. He's terrible there.
If it's not,
but they're also very selective in when they go deep. They don't go deep often. Yeah. I think they're one of the least rated teams throwing the ball over.
But
a guy like DJ Moore, I was about to say that a guy like DJ Moore will kill you down the sideline.
I mean, imagine again. We don't know. I think what Fields will be until he gets to his next team, because I think it's just bad timing coming to this team. I like him. I liked him in college. We'll see what he does after this. I think he's still going to be a guy around for a while. How good he is, we'll find out. But imagine him behind our offensive line when they're healthy. Like, imagine having that time to just
Justin Fields
unload a throw to Jameson Williams 50, 60 yards.
Justin Fields?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We're talking about Justin Fields being better than Jared Goff?
No. I'm saying imagine if he had a better offensive line.
Oh. I don't think maybe.
No, I think he looked better. Any quarterback's going to look better with a better offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's playing with garbage over there right now. So
I think Justin Fields lacks heart. He doesn't look like he cares half the time if he's losing. I don't think
because he's an Ohio State Buckeye.
No, he reminds.
Tell that to CJ Stroud. I hate the Ohio State thing.
See, just try to shut everyone up about that. Listen, here's like a couple from PFF. Justin Fields, like Pat was saying, is 8th highest PFF grade on 20+ yard passes, 5th highest passer rating at 20+ at 134.1. The offensive line does stink. I think the offensive line ranks 20th in PFF, blocking 24th. And they're also dealing with
their
sacks
rookie who is a tight end move over. So like that's a weird transition for that Darnell Wright guy in general. Like he went from tight end to
tackle to NFL.
They're doing a lot of weird things over there.
But listen, going to what you said about Justin Fields is, and I think this hurt the Lions. Maybe not, but honestly, I think it would hurt me. I'm gonna try to explain it right. I gotta think here. I want to word it, but Justin Fields, I believe, in the first 5 or 6 games of the year before he got hurt, if you look at the stats, like let me pull Justin Fields stats up. They tried to make Justin Fields a pocket passing quarterback. I believe like his highest attempt in rushing attempts was like 7. It was like 5, 4, 9, 6, 5, and then he got hurt because everyone's stressing Chicago. We don't want to run him. Just run him when he needs to, like keep him in the pocket. And then he got hurt. The backup came. I can't remember that guy's name. Their backup, the 7th round pick, whatever. He came in. When the first game back was against the Lions. First game was against the Lions. I don't think the Lions expected them to run Justin Fields coming off an injury, thumb, as much as they did. And all of a sudden, he ran for 19 times against us. And I think, you know what? Credit to them, for not being prepared for it. but I think you're going to see a better Lions team prepared for Justin Fields running the football.
Well, I hope so, because what the Bears do is they lean into what he does best. What does he do best? Run. Like that's his best attribute. If you had to say one nice thing about Justin Fields,
I got nothing nice to say about Justin Fields.
If I'm the Lions, what I would do in this game, now we're looking at like the other side of the coin here. I'm taking Campbell, and let's talk about Campbell real quick. Did you rewatch, Matt? Like, best game of the year for him.
Yeah. I'm going to take a big fat L on that one. I was wrong.
Okay.
Super wrong.
I had to call you out there.
I was super wrong.
Top rated rookie linebacker.
And because of
That was awful. That was a bad call.
what I'm doing in this game is I'm trying something new. I'm trying something new if I'm AG. I'm gonna spy Campbell on Fields. He's athletic enough to do it. Try something different. See if that makes a difference on these running quarterbacks, because nothing else has worked to this point.
You wouldn't want Brian Branch to
I
kind of
was about
shadow
to say,
him a
put
little?
Brian Branch on his ass.
No, because then you're taking one of your best coverage guys off of the field.
That's a fair point.
He's the best coverage guy on the team. Man coverage, Branch is your best guy. Sutton is the top end.
What about like him? What about like you just ran like more? You saw him play last week. Like this is completely. You guys are gonna be like, shut the fuck up. But this is completely out there. Like, what about like a really athletic linebacker like a Maben? Can go sideline.
Do you want one designated spot on your defense for Jalen Reeves Maben?
Yeah,
no, but maybe can still go and run sideline. Yeah, he's a quick guy.
But then, like to Matt's point, you're guessing if they're passing or running.
I mean, you know what, man? You kind of see how the game goes. If their first drive, dickhead Justin Fields has 50 yards on 3 carries, then maybe you start to do that. I mean, I don't know, but I'm more inclined to let Jack Campbell play that role than I am Jalen Reeves Maben, just because he has no other value. Like he is great on special teams because when he's got one job and it's boogie down the field and get to the ball carrier, like that's what he's great at. And there's value in that, man. We had Miles Killebrew years ago.
And it's his second stint here, so it's not like he was like making noise anywhere else at a different position. So
no. Like it's but
and he is good in coverage. Like Powell's not wrong. He is a good coverage linebacker, but that's really his best skill set. He's not good enough to be a real coverage like corner. He's not good enough to be a linebacker full time. So you can't risk that. Yeah, you're right. You're just right, man. You can't risk that and put him in there like more than like a situational play. 3rd and 15, throw him the hell in there. Absolutely.
So what do you want to see Pat? What do you want to see the Lions do on defense? What's your
like I said?
I think on offense we all agreed. We want to keep it simple. Run the ball, protect the football. I know it sounds boring. I know we said that last week, but you know what? You're playing inferior opponents. You're better than them. Like you're on the road. Keep it simple. Don't get cute this game again. So cute's coming next week against Denver.
No, cute's coming. Cute's probably coming this week with the injury because I think you just nailed it on the head, pal. We talk like a lot of these offensive linemen, the deals that we've drafted have been multiple. They can move inside, they can move outside, they can play pretty much every position. Hutchinson, Pasq, all these guys really kind of outside, like Aleem McNeil, some of these like bigger body guys. If I'm the Lions, is it worthwhile? Like, hey, Hutch isn't getting home because they know how to block him outside. Why not kick him inside, throw Pascal on the outside, and have to make their head spin?
Yeah, I mean,
you're saying switch Hutchinson and Pascal.
Listen, the problem with the Lions line is they can't finish the job. Like I had it written down here, the Lions.
It's not, dude. Hutchinson is getting double, triple. The blocks they're putting on him are like they are in the game plan room. How do we stop this guy? What we're gonna do is you're gonna chip him. You're gonna go to your guard. You're gonna go to your D tackle. Then the running back's also gonna chip him. And then we're gonna have a point guard that also like. But some of the stuff they're doing to Hutchinson, I've never seen happen to a D end. And everyone's giving him flack about it. He is a elite D end.
Yeah, I saw a stat they put it where it was like they didn't like the top 6-7 guys.
About his sacks. Don't give a shit about sacks. He is elite.
Well, sacks do matter because sacks is finishing. You do have to. But okay,
great,
but there's also it's almost
sack,
like listen, criticizing Hutchinson for not getting more sacks right now is almost like criticizing a hitter for not hitting home runs, but every throw is at his face. Like, if they're not going to throw you a strike, it's really hard to hit home runs.
Yeah,
That's hard to do.
He's missed some close
Great
ones where I thought
analogy.
he should have got
Great
the quarterback.
Sure.
He
And
probably-
listen,
this is probably
TJ,
6, 7, 8.
listen, TJ Watt misses sacks. TJ Watt misses sacks too. But TJ Watt gets home because there's other guys there that help bring pressure.
Well, hold on. So
he's
here's
not better than
TJ
TJ
Watt's
Watt, but
also a 6th, 7th year veteran.
So listen,
Yeah,
He's seen
Lions pass rush is ranked 14th best pass rush. Great. On PFF.
the
Seventh
fact that-
seventh
the
best
fact that we
pass
only have
rush.
really one pass rusher. That is incredible.
Well, hold on. This is just as a pass rush grade. 7th in pressure rating,
Do we know who
But
had the
the-
pressures? Like who had what?
but they only have 25 sacks and they're ranked 28th in the NFL in sacks. So the 14th best, they can't finish the job. And that's everyone can't finish. it.
that's
There's
yeah,
a
it's
lot
collective
of
effort.
there's
That's
a
collective
lot of
effort.
missed sacks. So
Absolutely.
listen, but you know what? The bright side is that could change in any moment. At any moment, I can
Well,
see this defense go off where it's like
if
they got
you're-
4, they got 5, they got
if your
3,
coaching
they got
staff
4.
if your coaching staff can adapt, because the players are the
But should
players.
they adapt?
But-
Dan Campbell
well,
says they're right where
Paul,
they
at
should
some
be.
point, you could keep trying to put a square peg in a round hole. We said this before, and listen, maybe once again for the 10th time, and I apologize to anyone watching, maybe Chase Young wasn't the answer, but you elected to do nothing. You elected to say, we're fine. So you know what? At some point, now it's your job to generate pressure. Figure something out, because the great ones all figure it out. The great DCs that get head coaching jobs, they figure out how to dial up pressure. Okay? The great DCs learn how to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. I agree with you, Paul. The players got to get home. Totally agree with you. But you know what else? As a coach, find a way to get these guys home. Find a way to disguise a blitz. Find a way to blitz Brian Branch, because he does that pretty fucking well. Why don't you do that once or twice? Send Kirby Joseph. Send someone. I mean, fuck. Jerry Jacobs couldn't cover my left nut running down the field. Send him. Send him. Let him go after Fields.
You got a big nut, though.
Matt. Woosah.
Right?
I think I got the answer for you. So, on one side of this, the way I've been looking at it, me and Powell talked about this a while ago, and he mentioned this, and it made me look into it. Actually, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, about our D-line coach going to Carolina. So, if you look at our defense, yes, they technically have progressed over the last 3 years and even this year. But when you look at it in a realistic perspective, Aleem took a huge step forward this year. Hutchinson took a huge step forward. Huge reasons of why this defense has taken a step forward. What hasn't taken a step forward is Levi, is Pascal, is Broderick, or any of these second and third day guys we took to develop are not developing. And guess what that guy's name is John Scott Jr., the new defensive line coach. Because the guy we had before, like you just said, Brock Lesnar quote, making chicken salad out of chicken shit. Which I love that quote.
So hold on. You know what? David Burkett wrote a great article today. And the article, the headline of the article, the title is Detroit Lions invested in day 2 D linemen for situations like this. Now they just need to perform. Levi, I know it's been 2 years. I know we don't believe in him. I don't believe him. You don't believe in him. Back issues, whatever. I'm not saying he's a bad
That
guy.
injury, I can't
Pascal,
put it all on
but
him.
now I don't want to hear McNeil got hurt, because you know what? We've drafted guys high.
For this
3rd round picks are high for this exact reason, to have depth. And you know what? I do believe sometimes guys aren't practice guys. They don't have the same adrenaline. Maybe now you see a guy like a Pascal play 80% of the 60% of the snaps. Maybe you see a guy like, I don't think Brian Morgan's going to play, but maybe Levi now is out there for 60% of snaps, and you get in that groove. You see the game. The rhythm of the game comes differently to you. Like Kirby, we thought we were in dead water last year when Tracy Walker went down with a torn Achilles. I remember like, fuck, a 3rd round pick. Kirby, I know we're high on him, but he's only played safety for 1 year at Illinois. This guy's going to be a bust, and we're going to be giving pass all. You know what? He gave us a spark.
I think that's a little different, Paul, because like I guess if you want to tell me in terms of the McNeil injury, in correlation to Kirby, like, hey, maybe this is Broderick Martin's time.
Yeah,
I could accept that, but like Levi's been here 3 years now. Like if he didn't figure it out by now, I know
he's maybe played like one more snap than Broderick Martin.
Broderick Martin's played 0.
He's been in NFL.
My point is Levi has.
Broderick Martin's like 21 years old, just got here.
Levi
was a joke.
And let's be honest, Broderick Martin was like a severe reach, and that's once again that's fine. When you find Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round and Rodrigo in the 6th, you could reach. You could reach
But
on guys.
Broderick
And
Martin
miss.
he might not be a bust yet.
No, we don't know. We don't know. I'm saying
and you know what?
But,
They were
but a
going
third round pick,
20
a third round pick should be a healthy scratch. That shouldn't be a thing.
There is an indication that something's not right with Broderick. This team has showed a propensity not to be scared to just throw a guy out there and see what he has.
Yeah.
They are not doing that with him whatsoever. With terrible injuries,
They're playing Bohanna over him.
healthy scratches of Bohanna and Bugs, and he's still not playing.
Yeah.
So, like, if that's happening, that means they don't believe in him that much. Where these guys that are such issues that they're healthy scratches, he still can't play over them as a 3rd round pick. That's kind of a fucking issue to me.
I mean, he's also, where did he play college again, Broderick? Colgate or Western? No, Broderick came from.
Hold on. So you're lessening of
Western Kentucky or Eastern Kentucky?
So I watch. This is a franchise thing. So you're talking about like, oh well, he's coming from this school. We should get time. Then he shouldn't have been drafted in the 3rd round.
Listen,
they traded up for him.
Yes, and they also were prepared to trade. They tried getting him 20 picks before when he drafted. Holmes said that this is our guy. They love him.
He said he almost moved up to the 1st round for Levi. It seems like they have a problem with evaluating defensive tackles and interior guys, and they might need to make a change in scouting. Because it seems like this is a huge problem, the way they're approaching the defensive interior, because like nothing's working right now.
Not necessarily.
They've drafted like what, 4 or 5
Western Kentucky.
Aleem's the only guy that's played more than like what, 20% of snaps?
Listen, Broderick Martin's a 6'5", 320-pound guy. Those guys don't come around. And he played really well. He was a standout at the Senior Bowl when he
say 6'5", 320 doesn't come around?
Not in D tackles.
Fucking 1,000% it does.
Who's 6'5", 320?
I'll guarantee there's 100 guys in college that might meet that requirement.
Who? That tall and that big?
I'll guarantee there's 100 guys.
Name a guy right now. Name me like 5 guys in the NFL right now.
Not the NFL. You said they don't exist. I'll guarantee there's 100 guys in college.
Not with what he did.
Or have that size.
Okay.
Yeah, there's also measurables. There's
also a guy. There's also a guy who. There's some guy in a Pac-12 was like from where 420 pounds. I saw that one guy. Like he was like 480.
That guy's ridiculous.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah. But
listen,
no, like
I think there's a point to be made here, Paul. There's a middle ground, right? The middle ground here is like guys. There's a little bit of a middle ground, right? Aleem McNeil, Hutchinson. Those guys are the middle ground. James Houston. We keep forgetting about this guy who hopefully he's coming back before the season's over. A little update on him. I believe he said to the media yesterday he hopes to be back before the playoffs.
He said he'd be back before the playoffs.
These guys, all these guys, the minimum we're looking at for CJ, GJ, and him in Houston are going to be week 17, 18, because until they're activated, you're not going to see a guy activated and play that week, period. It's not the way this team handles business. So even if they got activated this week, they're not going to play the following week. So you're literally looking at a last, and I hope they do it. I hope they do get both those guys in some gameplay to get some like, hey, maybe we have our seeds solidified. We know exactly where we're going to be. We got to get these guys like back up to like playing speed, get them in the game, get them a ton of reps. Like, I hope we get there in the last 2 weeks of the season, but like, I don't look at them as a saving grace over the next 3 weeks. So like these next 3 weeks, we got to look at it like we are dealing with what we have right now. And like,
well, I listen, I think CJ Gardner, there's a chance he gets activated next week. It depends what he means by that tick in soon, the 20th. Does that mean first day of practice or first day of practice of the first game? James Houston, I agree. James Houston, I think maybe makes an appearance in the Vikings game
when they play. Period.
What's that?
Players don't dictate when they play. If that was the case, Jameson Williams would have played in September last year.
You know what? But no, CJ Garner, I don't think he makes that post twice. I think Lions would have shut that post out once.
He said that back in like when he first got injured. He said, "I'll be back in December."
And he's the 20th, December 20th.
I'm not saying he's not going to, but
listen, it was a clean guy. Most guys come back after 8. A lot of guys come back 8 weeks, 10 weeks after his injury, so they're giving it extra time.
I just don't care what the player says.
All right, so I think he's going to come back. Chance he comes back to the Vikings game. I'm going to believe him.
Which Vikings game? Are you just gonna leave it vague?
Good point. The 20
Because you could be right. You could be right. You have a
Leave it
3-week
vague.
grace
Leave it
period.
vague. Leave it
Listen.
vague. Leave it vague.
The
Be
24th,
right.
Christmas Eve.
Okay.
So he said it's almost time. That's my. You know what? That'd be a fucking nice Christmas present.
Okay, so I
Are we calling him CJ DJ or what do we call him? CD now?
CD Deuce.
CD Deuce?
CD Deuce.
All right,
I
CD
think he
Deuce.
changed his name to
Illegally,
CD.
he did. He's CD. He's CD. I don't want to offend a guy and be calling him by his wrong name.
I do.
And listen, one more thing can I say really quickly? He just seems like such a nice guy, and I hate talking negative, but Jerry Jacobs, man. Like, for one, I mean, I think it's
I was about to go there.
he's like the 96th ranked out of like a 92 or 96 ranked corner in PFF grade. I think it's like he has he's right now he's awful. He's awful and is a liability, and I don't understand why the Lions just don't give someone else a chance.
I think you guys are gonna laugh here. This is gonna take you down memory lane. You know who he reminds me of? Same skill set, just maybe taller.
Can you give me a hint?
I don't think he's tall.
I want to try to get this. I want to try to guess this. So give me a hint.
I don't remember what number he wore. He played opposite Chris Houston, but he had a bunch of picks. Like was always picking off the quarterback. It was
he just has
Can you give me a hint on the like a letter of the name or something?
Houston.
no,
Houston.
his initials were AS. I think he was number 27.
Amari.
No.
He
thinking
never
Amari
had an
Spivey,
I
no.
think it's Pave. Yeah, okay.
It's not Spivey. It's not Spivey. AS. Come on. He was on the 2011 Lions. He was on the Lions for like forever because our secondary was so bad. So he was always on the team.
Was he the nickel guy?
He was a nickel corner.
Oh, he had the
Samari.
No, Alfonso Smith.
Dread.
Alfonso Smith would end the season
Didn't
with
he
like
die?
no. Fuck, I hope not. He would end the season with like 5 interceptions. And like they would be like I think he had a pick six. Remember that crazy comeback against the Cowboys in 2011 when Bobby Carpenter, Ohio State legend Bobby Carpenter had a pick six on Tony Romo. Oh my God, Pat, are you
Bobby
kidding?
Carpenter paid for the Lions?
Dude, are you serious?
he
Go
did.
back
He
and
did play
watch
here.
that.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
Chris Houston had a pick. Alfonso Smith.
2011, we went 0-16, didn't we?
Bro,
No, we were
09.
11-5.
Oh no,
09. Oh, wait.
wait.
All right,
11-5.
yeah.
No, 10-6.
Alfonso
10-6.
Smith.
11-5 was 2014.
That's right. So like Alfonso Smith was the.
And I remember his face.
He was
If I
small-
saw
he was-
Alfonso
yeah.
Smith right now,
And he was
I
a
could
small-
I could.
He was a
pick him
smaller
out.
guy, right?
Yes, very
Yeah,
small.
yeah.
Earrings.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, and like I remember playing him in Madden. Like that's how I remember most of these guys.
Yeah.
But
You
like
said Bobby Carpenter had an interception?
So I do.
100%.
Hold on. Let's
He
not
returned it for a touchdown, 34 yards.
I just said it. He had a pick six.
let's not go too far in the past. I want to keep it on topic with.
Wait, can I see if I was right? The other two picks, one, I want to say one was
Bobby
Chris.
Carpenter.
Bobby Carpenter. Wait, don't say it.
He only had one interception.
No, Tony Romo had 3 picks that day.
Oh, you're talking about that game.
All right. Tony
All right.
Romo had 3 picks. It was Bobby Carpenter. I want to say Chris Houston was the other. And I want to say Alfonso Smith got a pick that day too.
That's right.
Dude, I was at this game and I don't even remember it.
It was in Dallas.
This is the game. And I
They
don't
were
know if the
up,
stats.
they were up like
no,
4 touchdowns and we
I-
came back.
I was pissed. I think Calvin Johnson went off.
Yeah,
No, he didn't. Well, 96 too. This is the game where I think pregame they said Calvin Johnson's not a top 5 receiver on the Fox
Rob
team,
Ryan was comparing him to Des Bryant and said we already have a better version.
yeah, and I was going crazy. I was so pissed off.
I'm sorry, Pat. Go ahead, Pat.
No. I'm just saying, let's just keep this on topic. You know, we don't want to like barstool this and like not the company, but like just like kind of random conversation. I do want to talk about like the Jerry Jacobs thing because like this is a great example of a guy.
By the way, Chris Houston, 56-yard interception return.
There you go. This is a great example of what Powell said earlier that kind of goes against what he was saying also. Somehow how guys just kind of like, practice, blah, blah, blah. They go on the field. They have that
bad practice. And then
he is an attitude guy, game time guy. And when the game's going great and it's working for him, it does work. So like that kind of mentality and that kind of personality is very fragile, where if it's not going well for them in the beginning, it can end up being very bad in the long run. You need guys that just show up in practice, show up in the game. I don't think you can just rely on guys that just show up and like maybe they don't practice well, maybe they're playing games well, and that's why I don't think we can rely on that. But we don't have good cornerbacks. We don't have good safeties right now because at the end of the day, Tracy Walker, great player, probably
Average safety.
Yeah, he's an average guy. He's not great. Kirby, kind of in a sophomore slump. We'll see what he is like long term. He had a great first year, kind of figuring it out in the second year, whatever. Jerry Jacobs has only gone down. From my perspective, from first year that he started playing, and it looked like we might have something in this like undrafted player. You gotta always remember there's a reason most guys are undrafted, and it's very seldom they actually work out. They have little glimpses of heat because they play on a bad team, so they're better than most of the guys you have.
And he was a safety in college. He was undrafted safety in college, switched positions here. Great story. I still think he has a role in the team. I just don't think he should be your starting outside corner.
I think he's a great depth piece when you lose a corner.
Yes.
When you lose a corner in the third quarter of a game, he's a fantastic guy to plug in. He is not the guy you want to start. That's the way I look at it.
Not
you're getting your vodka. You're getting your vodka seltzer stuck in your mustache.
I am. It's getting stuck in my
mustache. It's
mustache.
like dripping out.
You should not.
Hey, speaking of which, getting things stuck here. I got about 8 minutes here because then
let's move on. Listen, do we need to cover anything about the offense? They're off. Our D got to make some turnovers. I know we got one last week, but let's hit him. Let's put pressure, make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket.
Absolutely.
And I don't think you need to do anything unorthodox. Just play.
I'll say this: I think the matchup to watch. I'm gonna go off Matt's MVP last week. I already forgot his fucking name because he's been on the team for 2 weeks. The Seahawks guy, what the hell's his name?
Bruce Irvin, you dick.
Bruce Irvin, yeah, I'm such a dick. So Bruce Irvin, I think him going up against Darnell Wright, a veteran against a rookie, kind of trying to figure it out, is the matchup. If they are going to win this game, it's going to be on the heels of Darnell Wright just kind of trying to figure things out, moving to a new position, being new to the NFL. On the other side of Hutchinson, that's where we can win this game because we're not going to win up the middle. We do have to stop the running because they have good running backs. They just have a bad offensive line. So now with our weakened interior, if they start running the ball early and start finding success there, that's my only worry in this game, period.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
That success will open up that deep ball to GJ Moore, and that is all.
Yeah, that's where the problems start. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think we're going to get some turnovers this game. I don't know. It's a feeling.
I hope so. I hope you're right, pal. I hope you're right.
We'll see. I'm going to be there. I'm going to hopefully be checking in on Instagram.
What are you going to be wearing? What are you going to be wearing? People got to look out for you. What are you going to be wearing? What color underwear?
Oh, jeez. I mean, underwear? I mean,
dude, I got it.
Black or navy.
I'm gonna own this.
I'll pull you. I
remember. No, I got to call this second.
I wear whitey tighties.
No,
but not
tighty whities. Tighty whities.
I can't do boxer briefs. They bother me. I go with the whitey tighties.
Pal, at the home opener, we were all going to the game, and he was just like, dude, I did it because Pal was getting. I'm in on this season. I'm in. I'm fucking in.
I'm in.
He's like, I bedazzled this shirt. I got this hat.
Dude,
He's like, what do you think? He's like, you think it's too much? And I was like, I don't even think it's enough.
Mm-mm.
And I love that Pal's adding to the fucking decor every week, and he's just owning it. And I see him every week. I see him every week.
The patches. I'm gonna have a Sunny Days in Detroit patch soon.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Maybe I'll make a poster with Sunny Days in Detroit, just sitting in first row.
Oh, that'd be dope.
That's it.
That would put us on the map.
Pal, you are on TV every time, so you should do that. But
the Fox crew always finds Paul.
Yeah.
If it's a Fox game, Paul's going to be on TV.
But I became good friends with the Detroit media team, so they know me. We talk. Yeah.
I do want to cover the one thing Matt said of kind of the bet aspect. So and I'm happy to kick this off because it's just I love betting.
Were we talking Lions bet here? Are we talking Lions prediction?
Well, no, I was just looking at the game and whatever. I didn't care what side of the ball it was on. I think mine's in favor of the Lions. Hold on, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, okay. So I think the easy one is always week to week. Monty touchdown has been fucking rock solid. However, after last week and seeing that video of Amon-Ra come off the field just fucking cursing angrily because he had such a bad game. There is no more ironclad lock than him, 73.5 yards over. The way they're going to work this game and end the cold is probably shorter passes and let the guys kind of work for yards afterwards. Amon-Ra, Laporta, whatever their overs are, take them to the fucking bank. I'm probably going to parlay the two and just see what happens.
I would throw a David Montgomery touchdown score.
Yeah,
too.
it's
This is a revenge game.
So
I know we already had
so
one,
good.
but
yeah, it's so good.
yeah. And a lot of people in Chicago are still rooting for Montgomery. For what
I
it's
don't
worth.
think he's one of those guys. I think
He's a good dude.
I think
Yeah.
they knew he was so talented, just stuck behind a shitty offensive line. I think
Yeah.
even like Chicago fans are aware of that.
I didn't know how good he was. I knew he was good. I knew he would burn us, but I was like, I don't know how much validity there is there because our defense sucks.
So someone I can't remember, I want to say it was like maybe like a Dave Perquette or maybe Eric Schlitt, one of the guys from POD, one of those, like one of the writers that I follow quite often, maybe Jeff Risden. And they highlighted it when he first got picked up, and like apparently came out that they offered almost like pretty close to the same contract to Jamal Williams. Like Jamal Williams apparently got
Yes.
less in New Orleans.
Yes.
And they did what we offered. We apparently offered him almost the same contract we gave him.
He was an asshole.
Which thank God. Either way,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go that far, but either way. So
I think he's all talk.
what I
Jamal.
liked about when I saw that happen and this guy posted it, it said that like they were showing that he on average was getting his first hit behind the backfield and still average because maybe he averages 3.5 yards a carry. His like average hit was like point 1 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So his first contact was almost
What's up,
always
Julie?
behind the scrimmage. So it was a very
says
interesting
hello.
piece.
Keep going, Pat. I'm sorry.
No,
I
that's
should
it.
have muted
That's
myself.
it.
Sorry.
That's it.
Boys, I gotta be out of here in 3
we got.
minutes.
Well,
Let's
knock
go
this all
into
out.
predictions. Right?
So-
We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll lay the 3.5 with Lions, maybe buy down to 3. I think the Lions are winning this game. I think it's gonna be ugly, but I do think the Lions win. I'll go.
Would you take the over in the game? What's the over under?
No, because Bears might not score. Like that's just my fan of me saying
Oh.
Bears not gonna score.
Oh, they'll
So
score.
yeah.
Okay, well,
They'll score.
I'm gonna go Lions 23, Bears 20.
Aaron Glenn will make sure the Bears score on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. I am what I am positive saying that I don't think Aaron Glenn, even if we had the 32nd worst defense, will ever get fired. I think Dan loves him. I love him too. He's a Lions coach.
I love him
but
too.
that's
Yeah.
a problem.
he-
That's a
I'm-
problem.
yeah.
That's a problem.
All right.
Yeah.
So what do you got? I got 23-20 Lions.
I'll go. I think I'm going to go a little lower on this. I think I'm going to go 2017. I think it's going to be a little bit of a barn burner with the weather and everything else factored in. Kind of a revenge game. Some injuries happening both sides. Well, not both sides, but Lions side. I think we'll make this a much lower scoring affair. I think that right guard position is going to make a bigger difference than people realize.
So what's your score
20
prediction?
2017.
20-17. All right. So you guys both think it's going to be within 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if I'm betting on this game, I'm buying them down from 3.5 to 3, for sure. I hate 3.5. I hate 3.5. 2.5 is one thing. Don't like 3.5.
3.5 is the
Ever.
worst.
Yeah,
line in
that's the
world.
worst line. So I think there's going to be a lot of oddball scoring. I think there's going to be missed extra points. I think there's going to be fumbles.
Jesus Christ. This sounds
Could
like
be
a heart attack.
safety. I see this game ending 25-20, 29-20, 28 type of thing. Like
You're thinking it's gonna be really weird then.
very weird scoring.
I mean,
Yeah,
20 is not weird, but 25 is weird.
25 is weird.
29, even 29. Like
Yeah.
people can
There was a score. Wasn't there a score just not that long ago? Some team hit on it, and they like I read it, and they're like,
Oh, the
this is
scoregami.
This was like only like
Follow
the 5th time in
scoregami.
NFL
Well,
history the team like scored like
there's
something
a
weird.
lot
It
of
was like
there's a lot of 25 leagues. Like you pick a team every year, and if they hit 25 in a game, you win, and like that's it.
but there was a game that some team almost whatever number it was like 18 or something weird, like whatever it was gonna be like it was only gonna be like the 3rd time in NFL history, which that sounds crazy to me. Any number under 50 would only be 3 times. I know you got to go
Well,
really
let's
quickly.
I was gonna say let's talk about it now. Do we want to do Sunday night or Monday, just so people know like when we're gonna be?
Matt, next time.
It'll be. I mean, well, we always put everything out on the socials. Now that we have an Instagram too, but
Sure.
I would say, Paul, it's going to be tough for you doing Sunday night. You're in Chicago.
I can do Sunday night.
You'll be in your hotel. All right. Let's
we'll
talk.
see.
Let's talk throughout the week because I don't want to commit to Sunday night and maybe you have a couple of difficulties in Chicago, whatever. So let's definitely in the 7:45 range, like we've been doing. Look for us either Sunday night or Monday night. We're gonna post on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us. Paul, what's our Instagram handle? Sunny Days.
It's Sunny Days _ Detroit.
Detroit. Our Twitter accounts are all up top here above our faces. So give us a follow. Follow Sunny Days Detroit everywhere you can. Subscribe on our YouTube page, Sunny Days Media 516. The more subscribers we get, the more action we could throw your way, and the more creative we could get because hopefully we'll have some money to get more creative.
Money
we'll only be able to do that if we get more
opportunity.
subscribers.
Money brings opportunity.
Yes. Work will set you free, right?
And I'll be at the game live. I go live a few times on Sunny Days in Detroit. Pat will go live from Matt will go live from his basement.
I'll go live from the cave.
Mm-hmm.
Can we duet or like whatever that shit is these days? I'm not that like privy with like the social media shit.
Also, heads up to I didn't have I wasn't watching the comments. Tony wants to jump in on this, so maybe
we'll get Tony in
anytime.
Maybe we'll get Tony.
I love Tony.
Maybe we'll get Tony in next week.
Tony's on my same flight as me heading to Chicago.
Okay.
And really, will the mall cop be allowed on the field in Dallas?
Oh, Dom? I don't know.
I hope I can't stand. I shouldn't say this. I'm gonna get beat up.
You can't.
You get a little racy with the Italians here.
You
Paul.
can't suspend the cameraman in Miami and not suspend that guy. That's my take on the whole thing.
That's a fair point.
He had no right touching the.
They suspended that cameraman that held the phone while Tyreek flipped this entire season, and he said, "I'll pay for his whole salary."
Yeah,
they suspended him and not this guy. That is fucking ridiculous.
They still haven't made a decision, which they have to.
All right, boys. I gotta sign off.
Shut it down.
All right, guys.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you Sunday or Monday. Tune in to the socials, and we're actually, if you turn your alerts on YouTube, you subscribe to our YouTube page and turn the alerts on, you will get alerted when we go live. So stay tuned.